Hi, mighty companions and fellow miracle workers. Thanks for joining me today, Wednesday, for some more weekly wisdom from our spiritual practice of A Course in Miracles. We're here to experience miracles, to attract miracles, and to share miracles with you, our fellow community. So this week, Carly Hardy, my partner in this wonderful community, is traveling. She has taken off for Ireland yesterday, and she's spending a week near Dublin with a spiritual community there. And she had a miracle on her trip yesterday. If you look a little further down in the feed here, you'll see that she was upgraded because she was willing and open to go with the flow and do whatever spirit called her to do, instead of trying to stick to a planned program of the ego, which is our natural tendency, especially as older women. We've been told all our lives that we need to follow rules, get it right, do the right thing, be good girls, and show up, and that we will be rewarded. And what Carly and I are now finding in our later, wiser years is that we don't have to follow all these rules. We get to make the rules. We don't have to do what everybody else tells us. What we have to do is tune in to our own spiritual connection with the divine and feel into what feels right for us. It's not a cookie cutter world here. It's not a world with a million billion rules for everybody to follow and everybody does the same thing and everybody gets the same results. We are each unique, special, divine individuals with particular gifts and talents, and we're here to show up and share our gifts with the world. So, Carly in the past mentioned that she had traveled because she was visiting family, or because she felt obligated to travel for a certain reason, or it was a trip on her bucket list. And this was really the first time that she just followed spirit, the prompting of her spirit, to go and do something truly for herself. Although she did go, at my prompting, last December down to Mexico and spend some time with James Twyman at Namaste Village. So these have been really expansive experiences for her. And this week, I'm going to talk about some travel that I've been doing, because I once had a career where I traveled all over the world, but I was miserable. I had what seemed like a dream come true life. I flew business class, sometimes first class. I stayed in 5-star hotels. I had servants when I lived abroad, and yet I was often anxious. I was constantly worried. There were many nights where I could not fall asleep at night. I would lay in bed thinking about finances, thinking about things I had said or done that maybe were not correct, that I wished I could have redone. And just the ego will come up with a myriad of things to drive us crazy if we allow it. And if the ego runs the show and we don't catch it and realize that we don't have to believe every nutty thought that we think. So I wanted to talk a little bit about investing, and where do you invest your time, your energy, and your money? Because when I used to travel all over the world in the way that I just described, I saw that as a means of escape. I had a life that was not completely fulfilling for me, and my thought was, if only I could go somewhere else, things would be different. And then I would go to the next place and encounter the same problems, because wherever you go, there you are. And I was always taking myself with me from place to place to place. So changing the external environment is never the answer to our problems. And this is what I learned after many years of traveling. I did have fun. I did have neat experiences, but I still carried my ego with me. My doubts, my fears, my anxieties, my concerns went with me wherever I went. But this year, after spending many years of investing my time and energy into my spiritual practice, into my connection with the divine, and investing myself in that way, I'm doing some incredible traveling. So last April, I went to Machu Picchu with my mom. And my purpose on that trip was to support my mother, who was almost 83 years old at the time that we flew down to Peru. The tour guides could not believe that this woman in her 80s climbed Machu Picchu and the other Mayan ruins that we went to visit, because she had a will to do it and a desire to do it, and I had a will and a desire to accompany her because she wanted a traveling companion. So I went on that trip not to get away from my life, but to support my mom and to have an experience visiting a truly spiritual place. And it was amazing. And then this summer, I had a chance to travel down to North Carolina and spend some time with my husband and my daughter in our beach place that I purchased last year. And that was a time to retreat and have some renewal and rest for me, because I tend to stay very busy when I'm at home. So even though that's also my home, I went to another home where things could slow down a little bit. And next week, I'm leaving for a week-long cruise to Alaska, to the Inside Passage, with my family. There will be 8 of us going on the cruise together, and then another week in Canada. So I won't be here doing my live next week and the following week, but I have pre-recorded a video to put up and scheduled it for you. So I'm not going to leave you hanging, and Carly will be back. And this is a trip that my husband and I planned 2 years ago, before COVID, before the pandemic. And we intended to do this cruise last year, and of course it didn't happen. And so now we're finally going on this trip with our family to see some places that we've never seen before, and to grow and to expand as well. And then in November, I will be flying down to Puerto Vallarta to attend a spiritual retreat with Ricky Camo, who is a musician and tarot artist, tarot card reader on YouTube. And this trip is particularly interesting because it's another trip that I am originally scheduled to support my mom. My mom wanted to go to Florida. She wanted to go on a cruise with a friend, and she asked me to go along with her. So I agreed to travel with her to Florida. We're taking my car on the auto train, the Amtrak auto train. And then she was going to sail away, and I was going to be in Florida for a week. And I thought to myself, what should I do for a week? I could just go rent a place to go stay by myself and do some journaling, but I couldn't get excited about that. I looked online, I searched and searched and searched for some sort of workshop, spiritual retreat, some sort of activity that I thought would be worth my while, worth investing my time and my money and my energy into for that week. And I just wasn't finding anything, because it's the week of Thanksgiving and no one is holding anything that week. So I was at a loss, but I decided to go within. Be still, just wait, trust in the Holy Spirit. Things always work themselves out when we don't try too hard, we don't push too hard. It's important to set one's intention for the end result. The end result for me was I wanted to spend a week doing something creative, fulfilling, and expansive, but not to be too attached to the results. You can't manifest anything when you try to force it and you are convinced that you know how it should go. Holy Spirit always knows better than you how it should go. So it's important to be flexible. And then this retreat in Mexico popped up on my radar during that week that I was looking for. But I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to be in Florida. The retreat is going to be in Mexico. How's that going to work? And I thought about it, and I realized that I had enough points on my credit card to probably get myself a free ticket, and that's exactly what I did. I was able to go online and book a free airline ticket from Orlando to Puerto Vallarta and back during the time of Ricky's retreat. So, summing up this here video this week, when your purpose is inspired, you get different results from when your purpose is egoic. If your purpose is to escape something, that's not the same energy as being drawn to something. When your purpose is to fulfill egoic check marks that have to do with image, that have to do with status, that have to do with worldly things, you get different results than when your purpose has to do with your spiritual growth and evolution. When that is the focus, things happen in a different way and with a different energy. I hope I'm making this clear. I always want to express these thoughts to you guys. I'm so happy to see all of you on here today, by the way. Welcome. And I always want to express these thoughts, and then I start talking and I'm like, am I making myself clear? I don't know if I'm making myself clear. But my example was, I used to travel all the time. I didn't enjoy it because I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Now I'm traveling for different reasons, and it's a different experience, and it's all good. So wish you all many happy travels or endeavors in whatever area you are attempting to manifest or attract miracles into your lives. I'm Teresa McGallagher, and I love you. Take care now.